Hello, Facebookers. How are you? I'm trying to figure this out. Let's see, you're live. We're building an audience for you. This is normally Grant's time. He normally does his feed on Saturday nights. But something happened to me that was so profound. I felt like I just wanted to go on his stream and share. So I appreciate you sharing. I appreciate you joining. As a matter of fact, I'm going to share on mine. Hold on. How is everybody tonight on a Saturday night? If you don't know me, I'm Elena Cardone. I'm Grant Cardone's wife. Kind of hijacked his account tonight. Let's see. Hold on. I'm going to share real quick. If I can find him. Yeah, there it is. Okay, I'm sharing on my phone. There. So yeah, I appreciate you all coming in. I hope you're having a good Saturday night. So yeah, you know, I had this really interesting situation happen that I just felt compelled to talk about. Part of it is honesty, and what is that really, and how are we butting up against it in the world? And I know that people are faced with challenges all the time, and they have to confront certain situations that aren't always easy in life, and how do you deal with that, and how are you strong enough to stand up and say no to somebody, or you know, be the oddball out and be uncool because everybody else is doing something that you know is ethically not acceptable, at least to your standards. And, you know, anyway, I'll just tell you right now, I had this girlfriend come to me, and she told me that she started this texting relationship, and she's married, and she started this texting relationship with this other guy. And so you know, at first I think she just wanted to talk girl talk kind of stuff about it, but I happen to take this stuff like really seriously, because I mean, I have to now be the one to say, hey, you know what, that's really not okay. I mean, you're my friend, and I support you, and I really acknowledge that you felt like you could come to me with this, but like the kind of people I want in my life, like when they commit to a marriage, or they commit in a job, or they commit to their children, like they really go and commit, and they're honest, and those are the type of people I want around me, and that's the difference I want to make in this planet. I want people who hold each other accountable to high standards, and you know, it's not about you know, your husband not making you feel special, or you know, or giving you enough attention, because I mean, gosh, I've been married 13 years. There's certainly times where, I mean, who hasn't felt neglected in a relationship? I mean, shame on you for not getting in communication and figuring out a way to get what you need handled in the marriage or the relationship. So I was like, dude, you know, this is kind of serious, because, you know, because I want to be around winners. I want to be around people who, when they commit to something, they do it. It's about your goals. You're giving up on yourself. You made a commitment. You said yes. You said I'm all in, and now you're backing out. And if you get off of the hook, then I get off of the hook. And then I can look at what you do, and then it makes it easier for me to want to like go flirt or have a thing or something. It's contagious. That kind of situation is contagious. Do you agree with that, you guys? Am I all alone here? Anyway, so you know, she started to get upset, and she was like kind of crying or whatever, and I'm like, look, I'm the last person that's trying to give you a lecture. I don't want to lecture anybody, because you know, I'm not freaking perfect, and nor have I ever been perfect, but I'm willing to confront it and handle it the minute it happens. And so I said, you know, who are you? Like, you don't know who you are. Is a possibility, because you went against your beliefs here. So who are you? And I had her really look at that, and I was like, she came up with this on herself. She's like, well, I'm a wife, and and I was like, good, that's good, that's a good start. Are you a faithful wife? Do you want to be a faithful wife? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And then she went on, she's like, I care for my husband, I want to protect him, I want to help him build an empire. I want to help him flourish. I want to take interest in him. I want him to feel good about himself. So she goes on, and she started to feel good about herself, and like it kind of reaffirmed who she is. And then the more we began to talk, I was like, well, how can you like I had her look at two groups of people, like the group of people that are in committed relationships. Like, what does that group look like? What are they doing? Are they happy? Are they not living in fear? Are they committed to one another?
Let the audience that's coming in know what you're talking about.
Okay.
A lot of people.
Oh, okay. Grant just popped into the room.
If you could only see me now.
Oh, God. Grant said, I need to remind the new people of what we're talking about. We're talking about honesty. We're talking about relationships. I'm talking about my friend that came to me with a situation where she's with this guy. She's married to him, but yet she starts this kind of relationship, texting relationship. Thank God I talked to her before it went any further than that. And so, I really told her, look, the friends and the people I want in my life are honest people, because if you give up on your dreams and you're not ethical and you're not honest, then what kind of a friend are you to me? You become a liability to me. You're not an asset to me. I need people who pull me up, lift me up, hold me accountable. So in this, she realizes who she is. I said, who are you? Who are you? Are you a good wife? Who are you as a friend? Who are you? And so she really started to figure out and reaffirm who she is and who she represents and what she stands for. And, I was like, you can look at this as an opportunity to, look at the two groups of people. What does happy couples and marriages look like? I mean, God, it is not always easy. I'm not going to tell you it's easy. I've been married 13 years. There's highs, there's lows. There's times you want to kill each other. There's times when you laugh, but we have that trust, we have the trust where we have each other's back, and that makes us happy, even when we're unhappy. You know what I mean? So I said, let's look at the two groups of people, okay? Because if you're about to go join this group of people that cheat, okay, so then you cheat. Then what happens? You feel guilty. You kind of withdraw from the other person. You feel like you have to hide. You feel shameful. Then what? Then what? I want to drink. I want to take drugs. America, I think, is the highest rated, highest addicted nation. And this really was profound to me tonight. I'm sorry I'm ranting, but I just wanted to be heard on a Saturday night, because if there's one person out there that's listening that might be tempted to make a wrong decision, I seriously ask you to reconsider for the betterment of everybody, because you're not only hurting yourself, you're hurting me, and you're hurting the group. Because it's easy to fall into that, but when you do that, then you ruin marriages, devastate people, betray trust. You can go as far as bringing home venereal diseases. Breaking up children's homes. It can go pretty severe. And it's a messed up world, and there's temptations everywhere. My God, Grant was telling me there's on his Twitter feed, there's this automatic porn site that pops up and tries to solicit people. So I know it's everywhere. But the more people that can have the courage to stand up and say, you know what, that's not okay, or I'm not going to look at that, or I'm going to respect my wife, even if I don't feel like she deserves it today because she didn't appreciate me. That takes courage. And I admire all the people out there that have courage, because it's not easy. No one says it is. But I got this girl to the point of figuring out, like, looking at the two groups. And she looked at the two groups, and I said, so who do you want to be a part of? You want to be a part of the one that leads to pain, hurt, sorrow? Or do you want to lead to the group that it takes work? It can be painful at times, but there's trust, there's honesty, there's integrity, there's courage, admiration, and dignity. She was like, I want to belong to that group. I said, good. I want you to be a part of that group too, because I want you as a friend, you know? Because if you join that other group, that's not who I am. And if you're a part of that group, you're not a part of my group. So she was like, okay, I get that. And I said, okay, so what do you have to do now to, like, handle this thing? Like, you know, what do you have to do? Like, you have to maybe announce that you're not going to be a part of that group, so how are you going to handle this dude, you know? And so she confronted the guy, and she was like, look, this is not who I am. I want no more part of this. Don't contact me anymore. Deleted all of his information. I was like, good. That's good. Can you confront telling your husband what happened? She's like, no. I was like, why do you want to withhold something like that from him? You know, she's like, I can't, da 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 da. This is the only time I'm going to show you this one little book, okay? Because I didn't come here to talk about this book, but I showed her this book. It's this book right here. It's called The Ethics Book. Everything I know about anything and every little ounce of courage that I have has come from this book. Anytime I run into trouble, I go and read it and look at it, and it helps me. And I showed her some references in this book, and I said, look, if you withhold from your husband and you have this massive secret, it's gonna, like, stack masses on top of you. Like, I don't know if that's real for people, but it stacks darknesses, and you feel like you have to hide, and no matter what, you're going to withdraw from him, no matter how much. And then he's going to say something, you know, and you're going to be reminded of this secret that you have, and you're going to be like, oh my God, does he know? Does he not know? Does he know? Does he not know? And it leads to that downward spiral. So I got her to the point where she had the courage to confront him and tell him, you know, hey, you know what, I had this texting relationship, and, you know, it's over, and, you know, I apologize for that. And he didn't take it well, as you can imagine, but she was willing to suffer through her condition, which was betrayal after trust. Wouldn't you agree? I said, look, you caused that situation. You betrayed after trust was granted to you. So you have to suffer through that. And now you have to make up the damage. You know, and you have to figure out how you can make up the damage for what you've done, not only to me, because you affected me too, because you became a liability in my life. I trust you. I trust my friends. I trust my friends with everything. I would do anything for my friends as well, you know, including protect their life. I'm willing, you know, people, this is a side sequitur thing, but, you know, some of my friends give me hell because I carry, you know. And one friend was like, I don't understand why you have a gun and this and this and this, and why you carry, why are you so paranoid, and why are you so, you know, thinking that the world is horrible or whatever. And we don't have that in England where we live, and I don't understand that. And I said, you know what? And I understand that you don't get that. And I hope to God I never have to use this weapon. I'm not a crazy person. I'm not like looking for a fight. I'm not looking to shoot somebody. I said, but here's the deal. Like, bad things happen to good people, and certain situations come up. And honestly, I don't know what I would do in a situation because I've never been in that situation. Thankfully, I've never been in that situation. I said, but I train, and I train to be as good as I can be, because if a situation ever came up, and this is a woman who's married and has 3 children, I said, if a situation ever came up, you can trust me that I hope to God I would have enough courage to do the unthinkable, and it would haunt me for the rest of my life. But if somebody was going to take your life, or I had the opportunity to take their life, so that you could go home to your husband and your 3 children, you can count on me for that. That's what I'm willing to do for you and for the people, the good people in my environment. So if that's paranoid or whatever, you can say whatever, but I'm an asset. I consider myself an asset to our friendship and to, you know, to who you are. God, I feel like I'm so heavy tonight. You guys, I'm so sorry. It's really affected me immensely because I want good people in this life and in this world. And I just know it's hard out there sometimes, and we need each other. And Grant's made a profound difference in my life as to where I am and the courage that I've had and the support that he has given me. And I just want what's best for you guys. I want what's best for us. I know that this girl, you know, my friend, she's like, you know, has a different outlook, and hopefully I helped her as much as you guys would help me if I needed help. And I really hope this didn't come across as like a lecture, or, because that's not the intention. It's just, I know that it's hard and people do need help. Oh my God, I can't believe this. Hold on. This is really embarrassing. All right, I'm done. Y'all have the story now. So you guys, I want you to go enjoy your Saturday, the rest of your weekend. Grant and I are, we've had a really amazing Thanksgiving. Like, we take this time to work on ourselves. Maybe that's why I'm feeling so profound. To work on ourselves, to work on our marriage, to figure out how we can be better parents, better people, better hold ourselves accountable. Come clean with how we have not treated each other with as much respect or admiration as we've needed to. I guess that's why this really hit me, because we're working on that. We always get together and meet and discuss what each other need and want to make us better. We're totally committing to building an empire for like-minded people that have love in their heart, hustle in their muscle, want to do good, want to make a difference for the better. If you guys want to ask me anything, you can ask me anything. I'm going to wrap up. Grant just popped in here. Grant, they said, how is the bath?
No, look at this, huh? Look at this. And the rest of it's just naked. I'm, whoa!
Did it show? Okay.
Tell them what you're talking about.
Okay, so
Tell them what you've been talking about.
Grant's like, come in here. Now I'm getting the director's notes.
Questions? We're here for you.
Yeah. So anyway, we're here for you. What drives you? Terrence, hello. How are you? What drives me is making a difference and creating good effects. And I hold myself to a really high standard, and I try to do everything I can to support Grant, because I'm not trying to sound like I'm disparaging myself in any way, because I really do know my value, but Grant is just, he's one of a kind. He's in a league of his own. He has a way of communicating and articulating messages, and his Cardone University and all of the books that he writes, and the way that he can get on a stream and just empower so many people and encourage people, and all the successful stories that I've read from people on how he's made a difference. Like, I'm not saying I can't do that, but that's not my forte. So what drives me is to make his life, oh, I'm cold, to make his life as easy and calm and beautiful and perfect as it can be, so that he can do what he can do to help more people. And we have the goal to help people and to encourage and inspire people. That's what moves me. Love what you guys stand for, and that you guys are against MJ. I don't know what MJ is. Do you? What is MJ? Thank you for your purity and strength. I relate very well. A great woman and a great wife. Thank you, Philip. I really take that to heart. I try very hard, and I am not imperfect. And, you know, I just try to rigorously keep myself clean. Clean hands, clean heart. And it's not easy in this world. Y'all all know that. Let me hear when you met Grant. A lot of you know this story. When I met Grant, I met him on a commercial shoot, and he was like not my type at all. Like, I was so not into business guys. I was more into actors, rock stars, you know, that kind of vibe. And he got my number from the director, and I was so offended that the director gave him my number. Anyway, he calls me, we have a conversation, and he's like, totally Grant. But at that time in my life, I couldn't have any of that. He's like, so, blah, 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 blah. And I ended up hanging up the phone like, oh my God, this is just another guy. And we were living in LA that thinks he can just buy women, and he thinks he's like, oh, you know, you know. He hates that part of the story. I'm glad he's not in the room. I'm waiting for him to come in. But he did tell me on that phone conversation, he said, you know, when people hang out with me, their lives tend to improve. And at the time, that was the thing that sent me over the edge. And I was like, oh my God, puke. And I never returned one of his phone calls. And back in the day, what was that, 13 or 14 years ago, we had answering machines, and he'd leave me a message twice a month on my answering machine, no return phone call. Then he became friends with my girlfriend, one of my best friends at the time, and you know, he tried to get into the little circle, and he found out that I liked shooting guns. I used to compete, so a lot of you know that too. I used to compete shotgun shooting, sporting clay. And so he found out I like to do that, and he rented the entire range and left a message and was like, hey, going to the range. He found out the one I go to. I rented the whole thing, da 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 da. If you want to go, let me know. And I called him back. I was like, yeah, I'll go to that. It's expensive to go shooting. I was evil back then. I was like, oh. But anyway, long story short, we became friends at that point. And then he became extremely special to me, because I had always, everybody has their own love story, and it's different. But I had 3 other guys all the way back, dating all the way back from teenage years, that were like love, or this love at first sight thing. And they all ended in these heinous disasters. And then there was this man, Grant, who, like, I was trying to flutter around and, like, not be in a relationship and, like, not at all be with him. And he just remained there. And I was like, oh my God, this is a man who's, like, not like any other man I've ever met. This is, like, really weird. And then one day we were at a restaurant, and I went, oh, you're gonna have to pardon my language. I went, oh, fuck. And he went, what? And I went, you're going to make me fall in love with you, aren't you? And he said, yes. Yes, I am. And we've been together from that night on. It's pretty amazing. So I can tell you firsthand, relationships are, no matter how, if it's love at first sight, or if you decide to fall in love, be in love, whatever it is, it's a created thing. It's a created relationship that needs continual create. It's not just when you get married, it just works itself out and that's it. It's a continual effort to be in love and to create love. And the minute you neglect that, the relationship deteriorates. And it's done that for us from time to time. And that's when you have to just like reestablish who you are as a couple and what your goals are and your dreams are, and how do you get on the same page, and how do you put your own little pettinesses aside or your own little desires or whatever it is for the best good of the relationship. You know, we're constantly doing that. It's not just like, you know, the honeymoon phase, although it can be, and it has been. You know, we just took a trip to St. Bart's. It was just magical, you know, and that was in August. I mean, you know, it's, you got to create it. You got to make it. It doesn't, you can't just like think it's just going to happen like in the fairy tales, but y'all know that. Grant Cardone, Elena loves hearts. Give her a heart attack. Anyway, you guys are amazing. If you have any other questions, I'll answer them. Otherwise, I'll let you get to your Saturday night. But if you have, again, if you have anybody that needs help or anybody that you want to just say, hey, how can I help you? Or let's make a better decision here. Or if you were going to make a bad decision tonight, God, I really encourage that you don't drink too much. Don't damage yourself in that way, you know, because you're hurting yourself. You know, hit your goals, hit your targets, give yourself wins that you can be proud of, you know, like stand up to something that's hard, you know, besides, you know, even though it risks you might having to look weak. I don't know. Wait, what was that? That one looked good. Do you think a relationship can help you build an empire? Courtney, that's what Grant and I do, and that's my whole entire goal with him, is to help him build an empire. I mean, every relationship is different. Every relationship is created the way that relationship is supposed to be. Grant and I have created our relationship where I happen to be like the stereotypical woman role. And I'm proud of that, you know. I think it takes an immense amount of art and elegance and class and discipline and courage to be a woman in today's world and really take care of your man and be a loving mother and provide, you know, nurture for the children and create a really safe environment for the household and for the family unit. And you know, I think any woman and, you know, even the women out there that are the hustlers and the go-getters and the breadwinners and the money earners, I have tremendous amount of respect for you too. I know what that takes to do it all, to do all aspects of it. I'm just simply talking about my aspect. It really took a lot of courage for me to put a lot of, when I decided to back Grant and to be with Grant, there was one point in my life where I decided, you know what, I'm not going to do the acting thing anymore. I was an actress in Los Angeles. I supported myself since I was 17. I made, you know, 6 figures a year for a single chick. That was pretty good. I had a house. I bought my own house. I had 5 cars. I worked on them all. I had a whole collection of hot rods and shotguns. Anyway, at some point in Los Angeles, I decided, you know what, like, I felt like I could do a greater good and help more people by getting behind Grant and like flowing all of my energy and my magic and my power behind him. So, and he's really validated from me with that over the years, and we're just an amazing, amazing team with an immense amount of trust with each other. And yeah, I had a lot of cars. I had a 65 Chevelle Malibu RSSS. It was so bad to the bone. I had a BMW, a 540. That was my nice one. I didn't work on that one. Okay, yes, Cherie. Really? You love hot rods? So do I. So do I. I recently was like, Grant, I think I need a 66 GTO. Like, I've never had the GTO. I've always wanted the GTO, but you know what? I'm not in that world anymore, and like, I don't really want to like drop off my car at the shop because they really need a lot of work and attention, and I'm not about to like leave Grant and the kids and like be working in my garage like a grease monkey like I used to be, which I loved. I loved. But I'm not going there again. That chapter is over. And anyway, so I got over it really fast is what I'm saying. I'm over the 66 GTO. But if you have one and you want to take me for a ride or let me ride it, I'm down for that too. What if your partner isn't behind your vision? Jenna, in some creative kind of way, you have to get on the same page. I mean, he doesn't have to do what you do, you know, like Grant, you know, like sometimes, I'll just be honest, sometimes I think he wants me to be more like him in doing what he does, or like even selling products or getting behind, like being more active in the office like I used to be. And that's when I'm like, look, you know, I back your vision. I will do everything to make you freaking, I mean, down to food, down to, you know, you need vitamins, down to, I will do everything and anything to take care of you and make sure you are handled. But like, that's not my deal all the time. Like, that's not me, you know. You have to let me be me too, and like do what I do that's really good and acknowledge that portion of me, you know. So if he's not on the same vision to where he's trying to stop you or hinder you, I feel like y'all really have to figure it out to get on the same page, at least as a couple, and who you represent. Like Grant and I said from the very beginning when we got together, we wanted to be model role couples. And it took several years for us to even figure out, like, it took me several years in the beginning of our marriage to just figure out how I go from Elena, this chick who was always only into herself, who never depended on a guy, who thought it was a weakness, who never wanted a guy to tell me anything about what to do, to like now being in a marriage, to having to take the other person into consideration, to even putting some of my own things aside for the greater good of the relationship. You know, it took some working out. So, you know, if he's really anti the vision, it's got to get handled. Otherwise, you just have to figure out a way where you can explain what you really want and what you really need and what you can do without, and get agreements on how y'all can help each other with that. How do you keep your individualism when you work so close? Sunny. Well, recently, you know, I've taken up running. I've taken up aerial silks like the Cirque du Soleil. I've gotten back into shooting as something I really love. Now I want to do tactical. I want to do defensive driving. So as long as I keep my hat in, my, you know, like a construction worker wears a hat, a doctor wears a hat, as long as I can keep my hat as a good wife and good mother, because that, to me, that's my number one goal. And to my group and to my friends, and how can I make a difference for the better on this planet, and how can I contribute and help? That, like, once I have all that in, then I can fit time in for my running and for this and for my aerial silks and for my shooting. Like, it's I have to have it all in for me, or it's not fulfilling. I hope that was a good. What do you do when your mother's child wants to stay average and you want a 10x? Well, I've always been a 10x person. I've always wanted to overachieve. It's a hard question for me to answer. I can just say this, you know what? Being average and just having enough, people need to really realize that it's a serious situation. Being middle class and having just enough isn't enough, because if something happens, and God forbid your child got hurt or injured or need medical care, or you needed to have money for something, or to take care of your family or loved one, you're out of money so fast if you're average. That's what that's what money and wealth and success and abundance is. It's like a cushion for security, for freedom. So if there's a way you can make somebody kind of see that and get that, I think it helps with getting them on board with the intentions and the goals. We are not normal. No, Cherie, we're 10Xers. How do you keep up with newly recent 10X person? How do you change with them? Kendra, that's a good question. I guess it takes about like a real honest look into your life and like where you are compromising and why you're letting yourself off the hook, and rekindling with your purpose and who makes you, like, what is it that you want, and how do you, like, who are you? That's the thing, what I told this chick tonight. Some of you probably missed that story, but like, who are you? When you find out who you are, you can take it from there, and then you can know, okay, well, you know, I create a loving environment for my family. I want like beauty and aesthetics and calmness and happiness and sexiness and fun, and that's what I bring to the marriage, and that's who I am. Like, I'm committed, I'm loyal, I'm a fantastic mother. I have, you know, tremendous, you know, what's the word? Patience. I'm not perfect. God, I've messed up. As a mother, you know how it is. You feel like you're always messing up and you're trying to be better. But you find out who you are, and then you line yourself up with that, and then you do those things and you be those things, and you find out, you know, how can I be greater? How can I set an example? How can I encourage others? Start setting yourself outward to help out other people. So you're reaching outward. That's the best way I can say to keep up with a 10Xer. You know, if you set a target, hit it. Do what you say. Commit to your word. Be honest. Hit your targets. If you don't hit your targets, you make sure you hit it the next time. You don't give up, you know. I'm doing these aerial silks, okay? It's the hardest thing I've ever done. I've never been a gymnast. I've never been a gymmer, okay? I can't even freaking lift. I can't even do a push-up. I cannot even do a real push-up. And it has got me so furious. And these aerial silks are so freaking hard. And it seems so easy because, you know, they videotape you because they want you to see what you're doing. And it's like I'm 3 feet off of the ground and all I have to do is drop and I'm terrified. Or all I have to do is flip forward and I'm terrified. And I hate myself sometimes when I'm going through it. And I'm so furious. And I'm like, I really, I can't even tell you. I want to be perfect. I want to be good. But I'm not yet. But what do? I keep going. I keep showing up. I'm doing body conditioning classes twice a week just to get strong enough for the silks class. You know, so you don't give up. You keep showing up, you know. I want to be great at everything I do from the beginning. I don't want to have to work at it, but it's not true for me. That's, you know who that, I swear to God, you know who that's true for? And it pisses me off so bad. Grant Cardone is one of those people. I freaking kid you not. He is good at everything he tries from the get-go, okay? We shoot bow and arrows. It takes me like 4 days to hit the freaking target of non-stop practicing. He shoots it first time out. I mean, anything, pool, I mean, jet skiing, water skiing, I mean, name it. So anything he's never done, I guarantee you, until I learn how to be better than him, which I guarantee you I won't stop until I am, he is initially better at everything from the get-go. Anyway, you just keep showing up. That's right. That's right, Nathan. Lisa, you guys are awesome, okay? Haven't found any 10X men to date in Orlando. Too many to settle for a boring life. Always working on myself. Want to be great at everything too. Totally. You know, like some of my single friends are like, oh, the guys out there, they just all suck and they're this and they're that and da-da-da-da. And that could be true. I mean, it's obviously true for them. But, you know, right before Grant came into my life, I had this viewpoint. Because of these freaking losers that I decided to be in relationships with. I had it. And I was like, you know what? I want a good guy. I want a good man. And, you know, like my friend was like, you need to write down everything you want in a man. And so I did. I wrote on this little teeny tiny piece of paper about this big over 100 things in the smallest penmanship you've ever seen in your life. And I rolled it up and I stuck it in a copper frickin' pipe and wore it around my frickin' neck. Okay? Until my neck turned green. Until my neck turned green, I wore the freaking pipe. But you know what? In doing that exercise, I realized something. It was over 100 things. I put ethically ambitious. I put monogamous, faithful, loves his mom and his sisters, or treats women with respect. I mean, I went
the pecans.
I said doesn't do drugs and alcohol. You know, I was very specific. I said no hair on his butt or back. Okay? And we won't show you his butt, or maybe we will, but there is no hair. Okay,
but
anyway,
she didn't get the 100. She got
there
100
was
million.
2 things I had on the list out of over 100 things. Okay, 2 things on the list, and they were the least significant things on the list. He wasn't 6'2", and he doesn't have green eyes. And you know what? It don't matter. Hey, wait, I can hear myself. Okay, back to being focused. Okay, seeing that list of everything I wanted, I went, oh my God. The guy that I want, I'm not that chick right now. He's never gonna like me. That's not who I was at that time. I was like in the bars, I was drinking too much, I was partying too much, I wasn't really serious with life. I wouldn't have, you know, wanted to be in a committed relationship. I was very flighty, airy, you know, like I was not that chick that wanted that list. So it was a wake-up call for me. When I wrote that list, I said, I need to go work on who I am now so that when that guy shows up, I show up. Ironically, right when I wrote that list, Grant came into my life and I fought him off for 13 months after that. I guess I needed to move on up until the point where I could have him in my life, until I was like good enough. So anyway, you guys have been awesome. This whole subject was about honesty, like just honest with yourself first and foremost. Don't let yourself down. Your relationships.
By the way, can I just say something?
Yes.
You were awesome tonight. I watched the whole thing. You're awesome, dude.
Thank you.
Awesome. And I just want to say that I love you guys. Elena loves you guys. You know, I think that you always hear this stat about what percentage of relationships fail. Over 50%. You know they fail because people are not honest. They're not having the hard conversations. But here's the deal. The stat you never hear is the other 50% are suffering because people aren't honest about everything. Like, you know, do you go to work and actually give people 10 hours for 8 hours of work? You know, do you do what you say to your customers? Do you exchange with people in abundance? Do you have a great product or make it great? Or like, there's so many levels of honesty, man. A person could stay interested every day of their life just being honest. So you were great, Elena. I love the story you told about this lady. It's awesome that you were open to being helped by her. And if any of you guys have, like, ever need Elena's help, her email is posted above. And by the way, baby, we're not getting a whole bunch of cars. So
I'm not getting the 66 GTO. I'm okay with that.
You ever want to shift my gears, you can.
Oh, okay.
Just keeping it real.
Okay.
10X, everybody.
We love you. Thanks, guys. Thanks for being who you are.
Congrats
Thanks
to
for
everybody
being
that hooked
honest.
up
Thanks for
Cardone
sharing.
too.
Thanks for all the people that hooked up on Cardone U. Thanks for, you know, all this social media. You guys, like, I've said it so many times, you're more than fans. You're like family to me. I appreciate all of you guys for holding me accountable in my life to being honest, you know, in a world that's easy to let others off of the hook. I appreciate you holding me accountable. I appreciate you for everything that you do and the courage and the guts to make a difference for the better in this world. Thank you so much. Enjoy your Saturday night. I love you all so much. Anything you want to say, Jay?
Be great. 'cause
Be
nothing
great.
else pays.
Nothing else
feels
pays. I love you guys. Thanks for like being with me on this Saturday night.